Okay, so we're going to talk about my pedal board and the signal chain and how I run my drive pedals and whatnot. And first off, we're going to show you, well, let's just talk about the pedal board itself. I made this pedal board. As you can see, I stained it. I actually dyed it with some regular old liquid RIT dye that I bought at I think I bought it at Walmart. It's supposed to be a maroon, but with the wood, it was already a darker wood. It came out kind of a, I don't know what you would call that. When I first did it, it almost looked, it was burgundy, but it had a redder tint to it. But I really like this. And in light, like on stage lights and stuff, it really pops. Oh, maybe if I can bring it around the backside, you can kind of see. Yeah, see how it has a red tint to it. Just gorgeous under lights. So I found a single piece of wood and cut it out. And originally, my pedal board was about there, about that size. And I cut 6 inches off of it, 5 to 6 inches off of it, because I had a lot of real estate and no houses to go on it. So instead of going out and spending a fortune on extra pedals just to have them, I cut it down. It's not as heavy and it fits in what I transported in really well now. So yeah, up underneath here, and this is all held on just by Velcro and it stays very well, is my MXR ISO brick, and it's totally isolated. Each output is isolated. It has 10 outputs, 8 of them being 9 volt, and 2 of them being 18 volt. And 2 of the 9 volts, you can sag the power with a little sag right there. And I run one of the sag powers to my wah pedal. And I do run it a little sagged. I've run it down to about 6. And what the sag does, and you can research this for yourself, and people can probably explain it a lot better than I can. But what it sounds like, or what it's supposed to sound like, is if your battery is dying. And it kind of fuzzes up the sound, gives it a little fizzier sound when you engage the wah. And it's something that before they came out with power supplied wah pedals, everybody was running 9 volts and had to carry extra 9 volts with them, because when it would go out, you could start to tell because it got a little more saturated or, fizzier. So then the other sag is right there, and I do run that right at 9 because I run that to my Polytune tuner. The 2 18 volt slots, I did run to a couple pedals. I used to have a Plexi Drive and a triple rec pedal, both from Wampler, and those could run at 18 volts, and I did, just to save some of the 9 volt slots in case I wanted to run a flanger pedal or a chorus pedal every once in a while. I don't have those anymore, and I don't run the flange or the chorus anymore. So, but I do have a spot. I have cleared a spot for it if I want. So that's my power supply, and then we'll start just at the start of the chain and talk about each pedal. So this is a Crybaby wah, and I input right from the guitar into here. And the reason it is right here as opposed to being on this side with my volume here, and the reason I run this first, is the input is on the side, and whereas the input on the volume pedal is on the back side. So it's easier to plug in, for one. But you're just running it through this passive. It's, not powered. It's just passive power. So it'd be like I'm just running it right into here. But from here, I go to the volume pedal. And then from the volume pedal, I go from the tuner out to the Polytuner. And that's it. And then out of the actual output, I'm running it to my first gain stage, which is the Electro Harmonics Soul Food. And This is a Klon style pedal. It's like a clone, a Klon clone. If anyone knows about the Klon pedals, they're highly sought after, and they've just re-released a new Klon pedal that is supposedly the same circuitry as the old ones that everybody seeks after, that are like $2,000, that everybody wants, that, you know, if you're rich. So from there, that's my first gain stage. I go to the Plumes, which is a Earthquaker's device. And this is like a tube screamer pedal. And if you go on their website, or if you go on their YouTube channel and they're talking about this pedal, they'll tell you that it is not a tube screamer clone. It is what they thought the tube screamer should have been. So it's not a clone. It's their take on what they think could have been better about the tube screamer. So if you look at this dip switch right here, it's a 3-way toggle. Has 3 modes. The one all the way to the left is a hotter signal. The one in the middle, it acts more like a boost pedal, but the gain still, you can engage the gain, you know, by turning it up and down. And then all the way on the other side, it is more like a TS-808, which is the tube screamer style that I like. And it is not as hot as all the way to the left, but it does sound more like a tube screamer. And whatever they've done to the circuitry inside to, you know, have their take on it, it's a killer pedal. It sounds great. I love it. Then from the signal flow goes from the Plumes to the TC Mojo Mojo. And I use this just as a clean boost. Now, I could have bought a clean boost, but I was looking for getting an overdrive pedal. And these are $50 online, brand new. So I just picked one of these up to try it out. And although I do like the way the Mojo Mojo sounds, it's not what I was looking for. But what I did find in keeping it is that I can run the drive almost all the way down. I run a little bit of drive, and I run the volume cranked and the bass down and the treble up. If I run it like that, this becomes a boost pedal, a glorified boost pedal. And it is pretty clean because I run that drive down so far. I've run it all the way down, and you do get the dB boost that you're looking for, but I like to push just a little bit of drive, and I like to push the treble up on it, because then when I go to solo, I know I'm going to cut through the mix. Just that signal is going to cut through everything else, and you're going to be able to hear my lead. So that's why I'm running that. Then the signal flow goes up to the flashback delay. And this is the older model. It does not incorporate the mash technology. And I have 3 different delays, which I'll let you hear those 3 delays when I go to play. It is tap tempo, and I can run stereo in and out, but I don't. So from the flashback delay, I go into the Hall of Fame Mini. And again, this is the Mini. It does not have the mash technology. It's just simply on and off. And with TC Electronic and their tone print technology, I can hook it up to my tablet or my phone. Now they've made it to where you can hook up your smartphones. Your iPhones were always compatible, but your Android phones were not. And they just made it where you could hook it up to your Android phones and get the sounds you want. And the way I've got this set up is all the way down, it's off, and as you bring it up, and it's primarily where I use it, right in that area, it just brings the volume up. And once I get to the halfway mark, it's pretty much at full volume, but once I go past, it gets at full volume, and then it starts bringing the decay up, which is really interesting. And it gets, it's at its loudest, and it has the most decay. So, And then from there, I run into the Ditto, which is just a looper. And I got this looper just to toy around with, but I found that I use it more often than not for while I'm playing, recording rhythm tracks, or not rhythm tracks, but like a second rhythm guitar that I could lead over. It's a great songwriting tool too, or if jamming with it, I can lay down a chord progression and then I can play and then just solo over top of it and practice, keep my chops up and all that. And then I run out to my amp, and then that's my signal flow on my pedal board. So I'm gonna stop this recording and go on to the fourth one, and that's where I'll plug in and turn the amp on and we can hear my tone. All right.